Hey guys, today we're going to be tying a mop fly. This is a variation of the Mopsicle that Andrij Horodysky came up with. Just some pretty cool little techniques he added to your mop fly. Hairline came out with a really awesome new material lately, UV Galaxy Chenille. This is just a small portion of the colors it comes in. It makes tying this fly super simple. You can make all kinds of color variations. There's an olive and black one I've been working on. You can cut it off at any point without it fraying, which makes it really simple to work with. And I know what you guys are thinking. Some of you love this fly, some hate it. It's probably the most hated fly out there and the most loved fly out there at the same time. We can talk all day about how it might be a supernatural imitation, it might not, but it comes down to the fact that it catches fish, draws their attention, and they eat it. Whether or not they think it's something supernatural, sometimes just grabbing their attention is all it takes. So cool color variations like this one can make tying and fishing super fun. So we'll enjoy this video, enjoy some of the small techniques that we're going to add to it, keeping that fly together, and I hope you enjoy fishing it too. All right, everyone, so here is the mop fly. There's the one that I'm going to be tying already tied up. We're going to go ahead and swap it out with the bead and the hook that we're going to be using. I've already put the slotted bead up there on the hook. This is the XT500. It's that jig 60 hook from Umpqua that we've been tying on a lot in a size 10. You can mess around with different sizes, but I've found that to be a really good kind of all-around one for this material we're working with. There's a 3.8 or the 5/32 tungsten slotted bead. I'm going to go ahead and throw some wraps on here with my black Danville's flat wax. This is the 210. Get that all tangled in there. So one thing with this fly is I'm not going to wrap super far back. We're going to end up taking our material and sliding it along the shank of the hook. And so as you'll see right here, I'm going to put a bunch of wraps in to hold the bead up in the front, make sure I have that secure, but I'm only going to advance my thread about halfway back. You'll see that my thread stops right before that hook point. And now we're going to grab our body material. So this is the new Hairline UV Galaxy Mop Chenille. Pretty awesome because as you can see, you get a lot of material in that package, and you can just kind of cut off a piece and do all sizes that you want to. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and try and get it a little bit longer than the length of that entire hook. As I've said in kind of some previous videos, you can always go in and cut more material off, but you can't add it. So you want to err on the side of a little too long from the start. So what I'm going to actually do to connect this material is I'm going to pull this hook out of the vise, and I'm going to thread that material just like if you're threading a worm when you were a kid, a soft plastic, right through the body material, just like that. Now, it doesn't really have a super hollow core to it, so you're not going to get like a perfect thread up the middle of that material, but you'll see that it just kind of traps those materials into the hook and just is going to help it stay on the hook a little bit better. Once I get that there, I'm going to advance my thread back to the front, make sure that bead is good and secure. And then one of the keys to making sure this fly doesn't fall apart is going to be some super glue. We use this Loctite a lot. It's a great gel glue. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple small beads up along the head there. And I'm just slowly going to work that material along the shank of the hook until I can get it up pretty much as close to the head as possible. I'm going to take a few wraps, not too far, because we want a pretty small collar on this fly to look proportional. And I'm going to trap it in, just like that. My tail's a little bit longer than I'd like, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit. Awesome thing about this material is you'll see that all I had to do was just clip that off. You don't have to burn it or put glue or anything. It does not fray. I've been using this fly for a while now. I've had a couple flies where I've caught multiple fish on it, and I haven't had a single one fall apart there at the back. So you just clip that off and it's ready to go. And I'm actually going to take the tail, flip it up, and put another little dab of glue along that bend of the hook. And I'm going to just press down and get that there. Andrij is a big fan of the glue, and if you've ever used one of his flies that you've bought here at the shop, you can almost guarantee you've never had one of his flies fall apart, and it's because of that little trick with some of the super glue that helps it stay on there. So I got the body good and secure, and then we're going to take just a little bit of dubbing. I'm going to use a ice dub black version for the collar and a little bit of white to add some flash. So with that white dubbing, I'm going to pull out just kind of a small pinch. I really don't use a whole lot of dubbing in this part. Grab out a little pinch. That's too much. I'm just going to start pairing it out. And you'll notice I just have a clump like that. And I'm just going to take the same clump and tie half of it in on one side and then just kind of pull some over to the other side and get a couple wraps in. It's just a simple, quick way to get a little bit of flash in there. This material actually has a little bit of flash built into the body, so it doesn't take a lot to get it looking good. I'm going to go in there and trim a few pieces out. Just a little bit of accent. And then we're going to take that black dubbing that I was showing you. Going to make a pretty thick needle of it. And we're going to do a few good wraps right there at the collar. And then I'm going to just tie in that thread. So as you can see, this is a really simple tie. Another one of those where you can knock it out quick. Get a couple whip finishes on there. Pull it tight. Cut that thread. And then to finish this fly off, I like taking a little bit of that Sally Hansen. Like I said, you can get that at pretty much any beauty store. Slip it in your wife's basket as she's checking out. And I'm just going to do a few dabs of that along the collar. Does a good job at keeping things in place without taking away a lot of its natural bugginess and life to it. You can go back in if you'd like with some scissors and trim that tail up a little bit, make it look a little more rounded, but pretty sweet fly there. As much as I would like to tell you that this is a perfect imitation of some cream orange mayfly that comes off in the spring, it's not. It's just one of those flies that there's days when all it takes is just catching a fish's attention. It's not the most scientifically developed color pattern. It's just something that draws attention. So don't be afraid to try different patterns, different colors. Olive's a great one I've been tying in an olive and black version. Get creative, mess around with different colors, and enjoy.